That is Abdullah Hamid. 4 years ago, before he became the mayor of Dearborn, Michigan, he was decrying the bloated felon as being Islamophobic. However, now he's in the spotlight because he told a priest to get out of town, that Judeo-Christians weren't welcome in Dearborn, Michigan anymore. And this is not an uncommon thing. Anytime Islam takes over an area, it squashes other religions, just like Judeo-Christianity did when it was colonizing. Well, Islam is colonizing, so any place it goes, remember 30 years ago, all those beautiful Buddhist statues that got destroyed because Islam was colonizing. Meanwhile, in Spain, we have a 61-year-old man priest, is facing 3 years in jail because he did a paper about radical jihadism being a bad thing. And now he's being accused, it's now a crime in Spain to have Islamophobia, when it's really not a phobia to be afraid of terrorists. But, that free speech thing that everybody loves to go on about, it really doesn't exist when you talk about Jews. Meanwhile, amazingly enough, the UK is considering it a terrorist attack. A man drove into a crowd outside a synagogue on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the Jewish year. So if I leave the comments on, there will be all the people saying, oh, how could they not respect the Jewish holidays the way the Jews will respect theirs, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll hold my breath waiting for those. So he drove his car into the crowd, got out, started stabbing people. He's killed 2, 3 are injured, and had what was suspected to be a suicide belt on. Because that's what you do in UK now, right? If you're going to be colonizing the UK for Islam, you've got to have your suicide bombers. Now, I already mentioned Spain. Spain, which just recently changed the name of one town to Kill All the Jews, and I suspect they'll probably change it back again. They, in their recognition of Palestine, changed their address on their embassy to Palestine. But guess what? They're not actually willing to go to Palestine, because they say that there's not just convenience, but there's safety concerns in Palestine. Now, I know a lot of you are going to want to claim, oh, but there's a war, there's a genocide going on. You have to kill at least 25% of a population for a genocide. 4% of the population in Gaza have died. That is nowhere near a genocide. But when they quote safety concerns, when you try to ban Israel from sports events or science events, music events, you always cite safety concerns. But it's not because you're afraid the Jews are going to go on a rampage, is it? No. Because whenever you guys want to bring up terrorism and Jews, other than you're falsely putting it as equating it now, you have to go back to the 1920s and 30s to find Jewish terrorists. Whereas, as I love to point out to people, I can go to yesterday and find a Muslim one. The concern is not that the Jews will do damage. The concern is what you pro-terrorists will do. You peace-loving, children-concerned people who will go and wear things like suicide belts after stabbing people. Now, I can't remember which country said that they would accept the Palestinian Authority to be in charge as long as they got rid of their pay-for-slay. Because that's what legitimate governments have, right? They have a pay-for-slay program. I mean, the United States is close. They've got a bounty on pregnant women. I don't know if it's still in effect, but there was for a little while. This is just the next step. And Abbas says that about 1,500 families have been taken off of this program. But that still leaves anywhere from 30 to 50,000 families who are getting this money, essentially Gaza's welfare, because someone in their family went and died so they could kill Jews. Woohoo! This is going to be, aside from the fact that they will claim, Hamas will say that it isn't recognized. No one will claim that Palestine is a state, no matter how many countries recognize it. Until the whole world recognizes Palestine, it won't exist. And of course, if they manage to do what their stated objective is, of the obliteration of Israel and all Jews, genocide, then you would never hear the word Palestine again. Just so you know.